Right, we are fishing again, Andrew.
Mate, so excited. Couldn't sleep last night.
Had you?
Couldn't sleep the night before. Couldn't sleep the night before that. I do get giddy days, you know.
It's all finally getting good again, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's definitely,
mate,
it's
proper.
waking up. We're on what? Second week in March.
Yep.
And they are eating.
It's weird now, obviously. It doesn't really matter how cold it goes. It's been like proper cold the last few days, but it's not really making a difference to the fishing, is it?
No.
They're eating like the colour of the water. You can't believe the difference in the colour of the water over the last sort of 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, I think the water's up a bit, isn't it? I think the water's about between 5 and 7, depending where you go,
What,
isn't it?
up high?
5 and 7 degrees, you know what I mean? And that's definitely, but it's daylight
mate.
hours, isn't it?
Definitely.
That's
100%.
what kicks the bums and just
Yeah.
makes it better at this time of year. But it also, with all that happening and then waking up, it signifies that change, doesn't it, with baits?
100%. It's getting ready for your kind of baits now, isn't it, boy?
It's playing time now for me. It's this, and that's what we're going to do today. It is at first I wanted to come out and do the springtime soft pellets, but it's been done lots before, and I'd be telling lies if it
Never
was
been
just
done with
focusing on
your
that.
stamp though, Jim,
No,
has
'cause
it proper?
I think for me, now that they're waking up and it's getting good, or same thing we speak about loads, later on in the session gets
Yeah.
really, really good, doesn't it? For me, tapping micros in and fishing an expander on the hook, it's a lovely, steady way of fishing. It's a safe way of fishing, but it's not an aggressive, positive, attacking way. You can't make it better.
It's my mentality, isn't it, Jay? It's nice days fishing, not a match winning.
No.
Potentially not match winning. You need to incorporate what you're gonna.
Yes, in the right situation. I suppose what dictates what I'm on about today, what I'm going to focus on, is the depth.
Yeah.
This time of year, yes, there'll be days when they come really into the shallow waters, into the edge, right up to the mud, depending on the venue, and you can catch them really, really quickly on micros and expanders. What I want to focus on today is that deeper water, when you're 4 to 2.5 foot.
Yeah. Like that.
The feeding depth now, isn't it?
Yes,
For whatever
definitely.
reason, on whether it's a lake with an island or a snake lake,
Yeah.
they don't wake up and feed in the deep.
No, it's right.
When they feed, they immediately wake up and they go straight to that,
Yeah.
the shallower water, where they're comfy, not the shallowest, but the feeding depth in it.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
4, depending on the venue, the 4 to 2.5 foot.
Yeah.
Depending on what your deepest water is. I mean, the
Yeah.
difference between it, but that's the feeding area. And that sort of depth for me, that 2.5 to 4 foot, can be a very difficult area to catch quickly with expanders, which you might need to do. You know what I mean? We're not fishing matches, obviously not yet, but you may need £100. I think you would. I think if we had a match at Partridge tomorrow, you'd need £100 to win potentially, wouldn't you? You having it? It'd be close, wouldn't it? It'd be 80 plus, wouldn't it?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I think you would do, because as you said, they've woken up. No one knows how it's going to respond, do they, when they get the matches
Yeah,
back? But as you say, for the times of the year.
Yeah, how it is now.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be my shout. I mean,
Yeah.
if we sat here today, we should catch 80.
And it's, to be fair, £100. I know it's a good weight, but when he gets going, it's steady fishing, folks. It's not like you're not putting loads into it, are you? Really, it's just nice and smooth. The fish are, with the baits that he's fishing, not maggots for catching goujons. They're decent stamp, aren't they?
Yeah,
We're not really going to catch anything smaller than £1, are we?
No, that's worth saying that as well. It's selective time. It's when you can afford to.
Definitely. There's no wriggly things on your side tray, Jay. I've had
don't.
to give him one of them this morning. I've had to give him a slap, folks, and everything.
I'll buy some.
I've got 4 pints in the back of my van, Jay. Nice days fishing. Don't win a match.
I'll buy some maggots in November now.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm with you.
But yeah, that's what we're going to go through. So I'm going to whiz a rig on. I'm going to start in the normal way that I would with my expanders and show the negative way.
Yep.
Because I think that's important for the beginning of your session when you don't quite know how it's going to be. Being negative with expanders, it kicks your peg off and it catches them few fish that come into your peg.
Yeah.
But then hopefully, as long as the wind and the fish let us, I want to show how to change it and step it up a little bit by swapping to harder pellets that are more versatile.
Yep, definitely.
And just how more aggressive and how faster and how much more positive you can be by doing that.
And give us a quick talk through why starting across as well, Jay, rather than down the edge. Obviously, you can get the same depth on these snake lakes. I know we've got a professional skyline in Richard,
Yes.
but there's potential to catch the same over there, what we can down the edge as well.
Yeah, that depends on venue, doesn't it?
The likes of like parties where it is like poking, it's deep, isn't it? It's lovely down there, there's loads of cover.
Yeah, here you wouldn't, would you? Here I think you'd catch late on.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas, that's a venue thing, that, whether they be in the edge. It's that depth, wherever you find it. Whether it's 2.5 to 4, it might be there, it might be both.
See,
depends on venue.
Jay's not like me. Well, yeah, not many people like me, but I'm stuck in my rut, as you know, Jay. Like, instant snake lake for me, it's always starting off a cross and then working your way back. I just can't get over that at all.
It depends how good it is.
I know. Even at parties or when everyone's on the top kit, I'm like, what are you doing? Get across. You know what I mean?
Sometimes
catching
it's not
full
right,
to my
is it?
one.
Anyway, Right, we want to get onto it. So first, yeah, soft pellets. And I'm not going to babble through the rigs. We've done the rig of the month on this, the sort of rig we're going to use. I'm not even going to talk about peg choices other than that you choose one.
Out of the wind, because it's very windy today, folks.
Yeah, that as well. But I mean lines.
Oh, right,
one line I want to fish in.
Yeah,
I'm not. We're not focusing on swapping and changing with different areas you peg. That depends on them and depends on the day. What am I babbling about? So yeah, with soft pellets, that's the one I want to start with, and I want to show the little things that you've got to do to make your soft pellet fishing better. Because there's a few little tricks, isn't there? In that, what we're going to talk about first. Talk about hook bait first. In that, playing about with your pellet hook bait, it's not just a case of doing your expanders. That'll do. Yeah. But the expanders, the thing I hate more than anything in the world is the lack of anchorage on my rig and lack of weight. Yeah. They do not want to stay where you put them. They're really wafty. They're neutral buoyancy. You've heard me moan about that lots and lots and lots. I also have
they even waft you when you like lifting and dropping like me, Jay.
You can't lift and drop them. Do you know what I always say on my coaching as well? My issue with expanders, yes, they're a lovely hook bait and all that. They catch lots of fish. But every time a fish eats an expander, it gets caught because we never feed them. Yeah, that's right. So surely you clock it eventually and think, that wafty one there, I'm not having
mate,
that.
I just go on the assumption that all fish are like me. Food thump, I'm in the net again. I just got on that assumption, Jay. But yeah, mate, I completely understand what you're saying.
It does make sense when you think that way, doesn't it?
Definitely.
But you need them because there's no way of fishing a micro pellet in conjunction with any other bait. Soft. So, expanders, it's worth playing with, and I'm going to babble about two different types of expanders. Either your pre-done ones or the ones you do yourself.
Definitely. The pre-done ones for, like, you know, if you're fishing a bit further away, 14.5, say 16 metres, and obviously the trouble with normal expanders, they are a little bit soft and they can sometimes fall off. Yes. Whereas with these ones that are pre-done, they're superb and they'll stay on. You can actually slap some of them, can't you? You know what I mean?
Preservative helps them stick on a little bit.
Definitely.
I don't know if how zoomy in are we, Rich? I don't know if we can get them.
And obviously there's, you know, we've talked about this thousands and millions of times, or Jay, we both have, in the fact that how you do your expanders, you know, you can pump them, but by far the easiest way is what Jay showed. He showed you all. Little placky bag, bit of water, put them in the fridge, that's it, job done.
In the corner. We're not going to go into prepper pellets, but yeah, they've been done before.
You've got enough for me for tomorrow there.
They're for me for tomorrow. Say that, you can have them tomorrow. I ain't messed about, no expanders. Right, so you've got the ones that you do yourself. Obviously, if you've got a preferred batch of a really nice light colour, whatever else, with no added flavours, whatever, then do them yourself, great. Yes. And that's when you do have to squeeze them in water, make them as heavy as possible, which it's probably the best way. It's the nice, quickest way, isn't it? And gives you the best quality pellet, a lovely blended in pellet. But for me, the weight's more important now. Yeah. So by using a pre-done one, or ones that you put stuff on yourself, so the use of glycerine, sugar-based additives, all that sort of thing, that our Richards once done a video on.
He's on it, isn't he?
In his celebrity days. But it's that additional weight that allows the pellet to be as heavy as possible with your hook in it. So that's something we're playing with as well, in stepping up your hook a little bit heavier now, a bit bigger, a bit bigger
heavier wire gauge, definitely.
Add more weight to it for the anchorage, which is what hopefully I'm going to show you with me rig. But yeah, choosing the right pellet, it does make a difference. Not so much for the fish prefers that one, it's how your pellet behaves.
I think that all comes down to confidence, isn't it? If you believe one colour or one certain pellets catch more fish, it's going to give you confidence, isn't it?
I think they're not bothered, they'll eat either of them.
To that pile of bait, thump,
of course
straight on it.
It's what you need it to do is to make your rig better.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, that's what all bait's about, isn't it? And for me, that's the best I can get, is a really heavy, either a ready done one or one that you do yourself to add weight to. It's just so much better. It keeps it over that pile right where you want it. Which is what I'm going to show you now. It's what I'm going to show me issues with expanders and catching them. So that's how I'm going to start. We've had a sneaky play already, haven't we? So we've
not let me have a play, folks.
You have a play in a bit. So I'm going to start with a normal expander type rig. Yeah, my wire stem, heavy shotter down the bottom end. What I'd use to start my session, just to see what mood they are in.
And what are we on, 412s or 414s?
I'm on 414s. 414s. We've got top end of it, haven't we? We've got nearly 4 foot.
Yeah.
And we've got a horrible side wind. And we're fishing on a slope. So the weight is very, very, very important. And in this, I'm going to do one of my own pumped expanders. Not pumped, squoze and expanders.
So just a few micros.
Just 10 micros in. I'm going to talk about feeding next, in how we introduce it. But at first, I want to just show how almost unstable a rig is, because you find that fishing in this depth that we're talking about, this 2.5 to 4 foot, 9 times out of 10, you're on a slope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nearly always on the incline, which is a good thing because it's where the fish want to feed. We spoke about that lots and lots, how good a slope is. I forgot where we're even fishing here.
Mate, you've got your glasses on, you should know.
I have, I can see it now. I remember where we're going now. But at the same time, it makes your rig hard to keep still.
Especially as conditions as well with this wind.
Yes.
Richie's going to get a big doof on. We're going to show this, mate.
Oh, let me lay him in again.
Go on, Jay, clamp down, mate. Clamp down, mate.
Yeah. So I'm going to put my bait right to the right, and then my float's going into the left of it, but right above me mark, so it swings in by itself.
Yeah.
And holds it nice and tight. And in a snake like that, on a snake like this, whenever you get the wind in the way we've got it now, you always have to lay your rig upwind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you fish upwind as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to fish to me right today, because if I fish to me left, my rig's going to get blown a lot faster. It's not going to anchor.
Yeah.
Because that slope's coming this way, it's going to drift off my mark really quick.
It's going to be away from you, isn't it? That bait's always going to be kicking up away. Yeah.
Whereas this keeps it nice. Right, let me pay a bit more attention. And you'll see, even with such a heavy rig, it's drifting through because I've not got that anchorage. Yeah, I'm plumbed up to the middle of my body, so I've probably got an inch and a half of allowance.
Yeah.
But because that bait has zero weight to it, or very, very little weight to it.
So I suppose what some of the lovely folks would think now though, Jay, is obviously, well, why don't you just go more over depth? But that in turn, it just creates a whole load of problems in far lookers and potentially not even seeing the bite, Jay, doesn't it?
Yeah, it needs to be, I need to be seeing my bait on my bristle ideally.
Yeah.
You see, once it gets to that area in my peg there, it's drifted about 6 inches to the left.
Yeah.
It tightens up and goes a bit lower on my float.
Yeah.
And that tells me that the curve's happened and my bait is showing up, but my float's still moving, so it's dragging it along the bottom.
Yeah.
Only very slowly, still enough to catch a fish, but it can be done better.
Yeah.
So yeah, just every time, put my rig to the left. Yeah, we'll get a bite now that it's just eased off a little bit.
Just off a bit on it, yeah. Lovely.
Lovely. Let's see if we get a bite. We should have. So I may need to attract some fish into peg yet. This, what I want to show now is how much my rig's moving. A little indication then. Little diddy lift. So my rig, even when the wind drops like it has now, it's coming back. My rig's moving through, and hopefully on the big doofer, you'll be able to see it's going through quite quick. Which, I mean, it's not right. It can be done so much better, can't it? Yeah, have you got a bite?
Come on, the fishes!
Well, what
have you got an instant?
No, he's beaten. I only catch F1.
Yeah. So that's right. I mean, that's miles away from your feed potentially. But we don't know. You don't know what the micros are doing either, do we?
No, them micros will be going all over the place. Feeding them loose in a tow like this on
down
a
the shelf. Oh, that's a nice one.
Gradual incline. It's going to come down. But what that'll also do, see how much my rig's moving.
Yeah.
And my bait's going to be moving. In turn, what am I whacking? It creates more chance of foul-looking fish, which I don't want. I don't like that. So what I'm going to put on this time, hopefully you saw it on that last one, how quickly that was moving through. This time I'm going to put a pre-done one with lots of lotions and potions in it.
Just that little bit heavier, isn't it?
Just a bit heavier again. But then also we can go further. But before we go further, I'm going to talk about feeding. So at the minute I'm putting it in loose. Yeah, that's another thing that we need to focus on. Now let me talk about this pellet before we start touching on how the bait goes in and your loose feed. Let's just see. So I think it'll be dictated by whether that wind gets up or not. But hopefully this should just be a fraction more stable. Then we'll put my bait. Let's just sprinkle it. Put it in loose to begin with. Put that rig back in. You see, I'm never putting that rig in straight, I'm never lowering it in.
No.
Because I want it to settle as quickly over my bait, but on a tight line, whereas if I lower it in, my float will have to move off the mark before it tightens up.
Yeah.
So my float's just sat lower for quite a bit longer then.
Yeah. Just a little bit heavier, isn't it, that bait?
Yeah, it's still moving through quite quick. It's only, I mean, it's similar to having a squoze and expander.
Yeah.
But it's the next sort of step in anchoring it. It all depends on that wind. So we've got another thing up our sleeve yet to really anchor in it nice. See, it is tighter.
What, get some paste on? Get a big bowl of paste on, Jay.
Yeah, just put plummet on. Link ledger.
Yeah, no, it's definitely sitting lower. And obviously that's that little bit heavier bait.
Because it's just dragging the pellet a bit I mean, the pellet's just sticking on the bottom a bit more than the other one was. Only if, I mean, a fraction, flipping heck. Can't be much weight difference in them, can there?
No.
But it's just not quite as wafty about. Which say, in turn, it leads to less chance of me foul looking fish, and it's just a bigger window in keeping my bait where I want it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it were perfect, it were flat calm, I'd be able to use a normal expander and it'd be all right.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be all right for this style of fishing. See, that's anchored a lot quicker, that one.
Yeah. What do you reckon that is? That wind moving it for? Do you reckon that's a fish coming in?
I think that's a fish upsetting it. Do you know what I mean? It moves quite quickly or something, and my bait moves on the bottom and makes the float pop up a little bit. Let's see, it's anchoring nice, but it's not holding over me trap for very long, innit? I'm probably getting a 20-second window, 30-second window for that. There we go.
Go on, Jay, lad! It might go yet. Not letting me have a go, folks. But yeah, no, it's definitely sinks a bit lower, a little bit heavier bait.
But it's tiny things, isn't it? It's just keeping it where I want it for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Gives me a better chance of catching a fish.
Oh, mate, how good's this? You're catching F1s. We've not been fishing pellets for ages, have we? Well, nice. You have.
We're definitely waking up, aren't we?
Don't fish now else, folks, does he?
I don't know if he's a little carrots.
You got a Carpus Maximus, mate?
A little one, maybe.
Go on, the Carpus.
I don't know if I don't think he's foul.
Have you noticed as well, you lovely lot? So he's on short kits. What's going on? He's on. Get ready, everyone, this year. That's all I'm saying. Oh dear.
Let me nail him before I start.
And yeah, I've not pulled you up about your comment, you horrible person. When I said I'd qualify for all three, he said, "What, is my brand runner?" Yes. I can't believe I missed that.
I don't think he's foul locked.
He's a nice in that.
He's a little fat carpy, isn't he?
I would not, absolutely no chance be catching these on my Magawars over there in that, would I? They'd just be, oh yeah.
Proper little fat boy, isn't he?
He has had some pellets.
But
no chance.
So that's the first little step in it, in just improving your fishing a little bit more, depending on conditions. Say if it's nice and flat calm, you'd get away with your normal expanders.
Yeah.
So using a pre.
How often do we have perfect conditions? So obviously what you're showing now, it's going to help the lovely.
Well, it's that little thing. It's not a case of this is what you do every time, is it? It's just something that's there to think about. So the next thing will be is introducing bait. Yeah, in the way that I want my bait to go into my peg.
Do you want me to go get you some maggots, Jay?
No, leave them horrible things till February. So we'll whack it. It doesn't matter about my hook bait now. I'm not going to bother about that. But again, something we spoke about before, and the way you introduce your bait when it comes to your micro fishing, your pellet fishing, is massive, innit? It dictates how quick you get a bite, what your bait does.
Oh yeah. Everything.
It's never just a case of shipping out there, whacking your pellets in, and that's it, is it?
Nope.
So putting them in loose can often be the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
So later on in the session, once there's fish there, and that's you need to have the same mentality as when you're loose feeding with a catapult.
Yeah.
You need to attract some fish to begin with. So to start with, you can put your tight pile in.
Yeah.
See if anything responds to it, great. If nothing does, then with micros, they're great because they're a nice bait you can sprinkle with.
Yeah.
So you don't make any noise really, but you can have regular bait going through the water. But in turn, when you do that, you massively increase the feed area.
Definitely, and you potentially bring too many fish in your peg, which is what's obviously in line has done it, Jay.
Yes.
And obviously bringing them off the bottom and that in that depth as well.
Oh, it's the last thing we want, isn't it? Is bait going all over the place.
Yeah.
So you need to try and gain an understanding of what your pellets are doing. Like it's quite difficult here because we're on a slope as well. So it makes it even trickier. So what I want to try and work out is whether I need to tap them in, feed them loose, because I want a bit of an area and I want to attract some fish with bait going through the water, or whether it's time to start balling them up or over slopping them. I mean, there's so many things you can do with your pellets not to make the fish eat them. Fish eat them whenever they go in. They're not bothered. They're just happy that pellets are going in. It's to control the fish, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's how you want your pellets, say in loose form to attract them, or whether you want them made up into a nice tight ball so they get to the bottom a lot quicker. Don't bring fish off the bottom, but in turn tighten your feed area up. And if you can feed little balls instead, which is most of the.
You can ruin it so quick, can't you, by feeding just that.
When they go in loose,
let's have a go. You can ruin it so quick by feeding that little bit wrong that one time, can't you? And they'll just ruin it for 2 or 3 goes.
Oh, you can mess up.
And it's all about settling it down again.
Yeah. Well, what I want to do more than anything is control how quick I get my bite.
Yeah.
You'll notice that the more that wind comes, the longer it takes to get a bite. because my pellets are probably spreading out a bit more.
Yeah.
So in this case, that took me what then? A minute to get a bite.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do this time, especially...
Not bad, is it? For a minute to get a bite and look at the sample. You know what I mean? It's not bad, is it?
But I might be able to catch one quicker.
Stop it, Jamie.
What I'm going to do, ping my lid off. Yeah, first thing I'm going to do, and I've made a proper ball of pellets. Yeah, but a bit of a nasty ball with a few flat edges, so hopefully it stays. I don't want a perfectly round one that's going to roll off.
I was going to say, obviously on that, it's proper steep slope, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lump, isn't it? And it's amazing how hard you can squeeze micro pellets, and they still separate, don't they?
Always break up.
You think they're paste, but you need a decent micro pellet that you know you can squeeze into a ball.
Yeah.
Have a look, you know what I mean? Do what it's worth doing one in a bait tub, just so you can have a look at it.
Oh yeah.
And work out how quickly it breaks down, innit?
All you've got to think about is when you're loading a method or an hybrid, you can squeeze it as hard as you want, but it's never on there when you come back.
No, it still goes nice.
Unless you cast badly.
Crash it in. So now hopefully, because I'm hoping there's already fish present in my peg because I've sprinkled for a few casts. Now what I'm hoping for this time is that because I'm going to put my bait in and do you know what I mean? It's going to be a much more tighter area, isn't it, that lump of bait?
Yes.
So if I can put that in without the wind upsetting me.
Big doozy F1, inhales it
ball's
straight
gone
away.
in. Now I'm going to put my rigging over the top of it, so that gives a chance for the ball to get down and start breaking.
A hell of a lot more accurate now, Jay. Right on it, ain't you?
Yes. So the wind's got nasty at the same time as well, though.
Really nice and
let's just see
compact.
If I get a bite any quicker, just by homing them in right over that spot. So it might not be any good yet, because I might still need to attract the fish.
Yeah.
With bait going through the water, but it's always worth just sneaking one in now and again. So that wind's proper messing me up this cast.
That wind's gone back again, isn't it?
A bit strong, innit? It was lovely a minute just before we started filming, wasn't it? So you try and concentrate so it's right over the top of that ball. That's another thing that when you're sprinkling it, you might get a bigger area for it to move through.
Yeah.
When you're putting a ball in, you really have got to focus on it being on that 2 or 3 inch
as
square.
well, I suppose, Joe. It's all, I don't know, you're probably going to put me right or tell me I'm wrong, whatever. That little ball going in, if there's not many fish there, obviously you've got the potential for that one fish to come into it and inhale the lot, and that's it, it's full up. Or do you just think they're feeding now?
No, I think one will definitely eat the lot. That's why you've got to be right over the top of it as quick as possible.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen that on the Matrix underwater one. That was
they're just coming in and nail it, will they?
Oh, it was 3 times the size of that, and it just came in a 10 ounce F1, and at the lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, blooming heck.
So what I'm hoping for is it to get to the bottom. See, the wind's messed me up this cast. Yeah, I want that bait to get to the bottom and me get over it immediately, so mine gets at the same time. The fish just sucks the lot up. Yeah, you've got to be nice and speedy with it, but this wind's really pushed it off. That's my first bite I missed that as well.
Bite, folks. Yes, he is human.
That's the one time it shouldn't have happened when I fed like that. About right, innit? We put him back in.
I don't think you'd ever miss a bite on them top kits, eh?
This is the problem, innit, with your micros expanders. It's this fiddly.
Yeah.
I mean, and once you start missing bites, they can be a pain in the arse.
Oh, mate. They could be going up that shelf a little bit, and potentially they're going to be in a lot of shallow water, aren't they, as well, you know what I mean? So, but obviously that's things to work on throughout the session, folks, you know?
It is. So I'm going to come back with a fish on this quick, and then I'm going to put a proper rig on, because this is horrible.
Not liking it, are you?
No, it's just fiddly, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's fiddly and steady.
It's faffing, mate, isn't it? Faffy.
Yes.
We're not faffers, are we, mate?
No. That feed hasn't half made a difference, hasn't it?
Mate. Ridiculous.
Because it is towing so much,
yeah,
it's going against me because I've only got a tiny area now,
and it's potentially not letting the fish go with it, is it? Because obviously it's keeping the fish in that same spot because it's going straight down.
Yes.
Whereas you said with the loose micros, there is a big scope for a much bigger area.
Yeah. One's probably at the lot, and now because it's at the lot, there's no bait for me to get a bite.
Yeah.
So let me go and feed another little loose one. See what happens. It is lovely, isn't it? It's not this is how you have to do it every time. It's paying attention to what's going on, isn't it? Pellets can be like that.
You've got to do these experiments, there, haven't you? Just to see, because it could have gone in straight away and nailed it. You just don't know.
Well, I think once more fishing in peg and I can hold my rig a bit more stationary. Get that in quick, that wind's coming.
That's it. So obviously that is going to be over a much bigger area.
Yes,
bigger catchment
5 times the area, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it might give him...
Yeah, boy! See, they're on the drop still.
I don't know why
so would you go in and feed this time, even though them pellets still sinking?
Yeah, of course I would, because they've they're a mess.
He's my kind of guy, folks. He likes his feeding now. You edgy, eh, lad?
But that's definitely better, isn't it? The sprinklings, I think getting drawn in a lot quicker.
It's the noise as well, isn't it? Obviously.
Do you think they make much?
I think they make a bit of noise, man.
Enough for them to hear it.
But and obviously that sneaking, that's the one for shallower water, innit? When you don't want to make any disturbance. Mate.
See, they're all proper ones.
Jay, give us a go.
You have go in a minute. I've spoke about this loads as well, in that you notice every single fish when you're pellet fishing. I swear to God, you don't need a disgorger, do you? If you're doing it properly, you should never, ever need one.
I've got big chub disgorger on standby all the time, me, Jay. Is that because I'm a little bit more over depth for her?
It's because you're lifting and dropping all the time.
I do like a lift and a drop. So that's worth mentioning, that, Jay, lifting and dropping. Yeah. So obviously I've talked about this lots and lots of times. Everyone I've coached over, like, however long I've been doing it, like, lift and drop, mate, lift and drop. You'll get a bite when lift and drop. And you do tend to file up quite a lot. But obviously since, you know, been spending a lot more time with Jay, that sounds a bit wrong. But you know what I mean, it makes such a difference. When you're feeding this way, you're just, as he's doing, just sitting over it, don't move
Keep it still, isn't it?
Bagger taught it me years ago, and I'm like, no, he's wrong. He says, you're proper old school, you aren't you, Andy? But he used stronger, swearier words than that. And it's so right. And
was he not nice about it?
I should have clocked on it, but I didn't. And yeah, it just makes such a difference. It really does.
It's keeping the rig tight, isn't it?
Yeah.
As soon as you lift and drop, that bait swings beneath your float.
The art's gone and
mucks everything.
I do foul up quite a few, to be fair.
Yes, just
but that could be down to me feeding as well, Jay. So I like feeding.
Yes.
But no, it's massive.
Thinking about your bait.
Love
so we're at the point now when it's nice and steady, but because of the way it is, I can't make it get exciting. Yeah, you're dictated by what the fish want to do. And
that's why you're obviously the micros. You truly believe it's through the micros and expander. You just can't really make it happen. You're just ticking over, aren't we?
So that's all it is. Tick over. Yeah, tick over, and you're very much dictated to the conditions and the peg and just how the fish are behaving. Whereas by swapping to my next rig and getting some hard pellets out, so it's definitely not the balmy summer days of blasting bait all over the place and
not yet
and being positive with them. But I've got the option. It's bringing hard pellets into the equation, like literally February onwards.
Yeah,
it just means you can do things. Yeah, you're not limited to putting this amount of bait in. That's a bad thing with micros for me. Is that it's a hell of a lot of bait in a little pot, even that tiny pot that I'm feeding.
Yeah.
The numbers of micros is massive. And the fish only eat one or two at a time. They don't, they don't suck loads up unless they're in a clump. Yeah. When I'm feeding them loose, there's a lot of individual bits.
Yeah. And again, that's going to cause you potential line bites, isn't it?
It takes longer for them to pick mine up. As you say, I'm really, really not happy with this rig whatsoever. No. It's moving about, my feed's moving about, it's a bit messy.
Yeah.
But it needed to be done to start with because you need that soft pellety micros just to get some fish in the peg.
Yeah.
Just before I can risk it. And I can get some man pellets on. Right, last chuck, and then I'm coming off it regardless. See, it's sitting nice. So what you find as well in these conditions when it's towing like this, you often find that the deeper water, the less it tows, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's like we could easily move across and maybe catch a few fish a bit quicker, close to them reeds. But because the wind's going side on, the shallower and the more of a slope it is, it flies, doesn't it? It really does go quick.
Yeah, it does.
So it's just coming a little bit into this depth that we're in now.
So, for example, if obviously the wind was bouncing against that bank and going back the opposite way, how would that determine how you're going to lay the rigging in?
If the wind was what?
Obviously, if it was similar to like it is, it was going more off our right shoulder, but then we had undertow, how would that determine how you put the rigging in?
If the undertow was beating
going
the wind,
opposite.
Yeah, I'd go that way.
Right, so whatever way to come right. Yes. So the wind's so it's blowing it up the shelf, so you're keeping that arc.
To keep it tight, yeah. Whatever's winning.
Did that one fall off? I missed that.
It ruined my rig as well.
Oh mate,
it's all good. Nearly whacked me in the face. Short.
See, I'd be more than happy with what's going on catching these fish. You know what I mean? They're catching pretty quick.
No, it's steady, but not good enough. So what I'm going to swap to, as I say, I'm not going to babble about rigs too much because we've covered that in the previous video. But now swap to my carbon stem with a slightly slower fall, so I've got two number 11s at the bottom and then spread out number 8s in the bottom third to half my rig. So it's going to have a bit more of a nicer, slower fall, but I've still got the stability with a load of weight down the line. And I'm literally just going to feed 5 or 6 4mm, hard ones, and a little tiny pinch of micros now. It's like 3 or 4 and 5 micros, just for a bit of a smell in the water. And I'm going to wean them off the micros. Wean them off. Wiener! Yeah, wean them off the micros.
I had to wean Milo off custard creams when we first got him.
Did you?
Like it. Wean him off the micros.
So hopefully you'll see, also the wind's been a bit nicer now, is how much better this rig anchors. Yeah, because I've got a 4mm on now, a nice hard one.
Yeah. They just sound better, don't they, when they go in?
It's that.
And it's gone perfect now for you, isn't it?
It's at the winds, actually. It's going to look good because the wind's got good as well. But see how quickly I've tightened up to my rig?
Yeah.
But it just sits there.
Look how much more stable that is, Jim.
Yeah, I get twice the time, don't I? I get 40 seconds now in my peg.
It's mad, that, mate.
But even though the rig's lighter, it's the bait's better.
Yeah.
So really, I could even fish a soft pellet type rig. I mean, very heavy shotter with them number 9s with a 4-inch hook length.
Yeah.
But put a banded hook on.
Yeah.
I mean, fish hard pellet on that, and that'll be the ultimate keep it still. But because I've got hard pellets on, I'm going to make lots of noise. I've got the potential to get catty out. I like a little bit of a lighter, sexier rig, just because it's got potential to catch a few on the way through. What's on that, Andrew?
Go on the reeds.
A reed? Is it coming off? Yeah, it's come off. I thought that was like something weird foul up there, like a skimmer in the dorsal fin or something. It was right weird.
Yeah, but it's nuts. I mean, obviously, wind's died down, but it's still going to be skimming through. But how it's holding up, isn't
Just
it?
holds nice, doesn't it?
Lovely.
So a little weird thing. I don't know if Rich can quite pick it up on.
Oof.
On the doofer.
He can get everything on his big doofer, can't you?
The way you lay it in as well is quite funny in that you don't lay it parallel to your peg. You try and make sure that your bait swings towards you slightly as well. So it's coming in at sort of like a 4 o'clock angle.
Ah, right, get you. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Up the slope kind of thing rather than against it.
If you go parallel, it can sit a bit too much. So you just want it to come in at that lovely angle.
Yeah.
Just so it sits and just stays still.
Lovely.
And on the real sexy days, you're getting a few more indications now. On the real sexy days, when there's no wind whatsoever, you can actually see when your pellet's just touching the bottom. You can ship an inch shorter or a couple of inches further past, and you can see your bristle just changing that few inches.
Yeah.
And you know whether you're laying a little bit more on, you've got a bit more of a curve, or you're off bottom even.
Yeah.
You can really see it so much more clear because you've got this heavy bait on. It's unlike expanders I can be off the bottom and not even know. See how it anchors a lot more, this one? It's actually dragging me float under a bit.
As you say, you're getting double the time when you swim, aren't you?
Yes. I just need to be stubborn and hold it nice and still. Big weird helicopter hand. What's that? Is that a Chinook?
No, mate. You get the doof 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 up a Chinook.
That's something big.
It's just a random belly popper, mate, isn't it?
Oh, it might land on the island on Arena. I like it when they do that. So, what I need to do is try and make something happen now. Because I'm getting the odd indication, but it ain't good enough. Yeah, and unlike the micros that I've just got to take it as it comes. You know what I mean? I've got to keep reintroducing that little pile as it gets washed away. Now I haven't got it. Yeah, now I can put a lid back on, and I've got the option of sprinkling with my pot, but with a nice big heavy bait that's going to stay there.
Yeah.
I've got lid on already. So I'm going to cut micros out altogether now, and I'm just going to put 10 or 15 4mm in. And what that gives you now is the option to make lots of noise with a tiny bit of bait. So 2 or 3 4mm is going to make 10 times the noise that 10 micros is going to make.
Yeah, definitely.
So I can use that to my advantage to draw fish into the peg, but with less bait. So I'm just going to have that. See that? I can hear that from here even.
Oh, lovely.
I mean, loads and loads of noise. See what happens. See if they're rushing in. See, something happened there on the drop end, so something had a go at them on the way in. So you see them again?
Yeah.
So they're definitely coming up and being a bit of a pain. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to make some more noise quick, and I'm going to put my rig in with it, because I think they're intercepting it on the way down. And say I couldn't do that with expanders, because I'm stuck to fishing on the bottom with that tight rig. Whereas this one, I can lay it in, and them sexy 2 number 11s at the bottom end.
Oh, he's on it, isn't he?
You see it come in.
He's on it.
Beautiful.
How awesome was that to see for you folks? You know, he's read his peg. He's seen them few like indications on his float. Tapped a few more in, rig straight in. Fish is coming, And it's nailed it. It's watched them all fall down. What's yours on it?
Yeah, of course.
You make me sick, man.
But it's controlling the fish, isn't it? It's a bait that allows you to do it. I mean, I'm still.
And how much quicker was that though? Obviously, on that, on the 4 mil.
Better, wasn't it?
Banded 4 mil. I still won't be putting the 4 mil on until June yet, folks. I will be now. Get ready tomorrow, Jay.
Nice little weird one with a curly gill.
How dare you? They're all beautiful.
He's beautiful. He's not. He's a bit ugly. Look, he's a bit weird.
Oh yeah, he is. Took him back, mate.
So one more and see. So just because that's occurred that cast as well,
yeah,
it's not a constant. It doesn't mean that that's going to happen every cast.
Oh no, definitely not. Just a little greedy, funny one, that one, wasn't it?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
He was just playing. But what it means is that with 4 mils, because they're happy to eat them and they're accepting them and feeding on them.
Yeah.
Now I can play about. I've got the option of getting catties out. You can just read every cast and respond to it instead of just having to feed in that very basic same way that you do with micros.
Yeah.
But I'm maintaining just as much accuracy, and if anything, more magnification of what's going on.
Yeah,
like you see, I've struck a lot more on this rig.
They're not going to get as, obviously, we talk about it loads of times, haven't they? The fact that they get so giddy on micros and can be a nightmare, can't they?
Yeah, so I'll try same again, because it did work. I'll feed that bait and then put my rig in to try and put it in fairly together. So hold that nice and tight. I've still got a few pellets in my cup, so I've got an option to do that twice if I want. So I could even put a sprinkle lid and give myself even more of a window
Yeah.
But I'm funny me with sprinkle rig. See how much better's that? I'm funny with sprinkle rig pots in that I hate having pellets in my cup when I'm shipping back with a fish.
Oh, because they're going all over the
You drop
place.
a few about, don't you? I
Yeah.
don't like that. So I'd always rather. I don't think he's foul looked. He's just.
No.
Is that a big skin bob?
No,
It's
a one.
pale one, isn't it?
Just wrapped itself, hasn't he?
He is in the mouth, isn't he?
How much quick is that though? Since you've gone on to them?
Yeah, it's just being aggressive, isn't it?
Noise.
I will say it's a case of
all these.
The
factors.
weather being the sexiest it's been as well.
To be fair, yeah.
It's just dropped a little bit. He's not foul looked, I promise. Get off.
No, he's not. You wait till I get on the box. It's going to blow a hurricane. Yeah, I love that.
Yes, he's just wrapped around this fin, I promise. Look. Same no disgorge yet, ever, because you're seeing them bites the second they're happening.
So you reckon, Jay, if I start fishing like you now, I'll never ever have to use my chub disgorge ever again?
Never, ever.
I bet Rich shows me using it tomorrow.
Big chub disgorger.
Oh, get ready.
Well, you will, but that'll only be them roach you're fannying about with.
£30 a roach tomorrow, folks. But no, that's just like changed it in one, hasn't it? Well, in two, you've had two on it, but
yeah,
just
it's
not
a different peg, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
completely different peg. So playing like I honestly believe that I spoke to you two about this. That with bait, it's like meat almost. You associate baits with weather, and yes, you have to feed a lot less, and certain baits are less effective when it's cold. But hard pellets aren't. You know what I mean? The fish eat pellets all their lives, regardless.
It's us, isn't it? As you said, it's us who think that.
Yeah.
Where was it where you used to fish, Rich? And they always used to use hard pellets.
Coleman's, wasn't it?
Coleman's, and they
Well,
always.
Larford was the same, wasn't it?
Remember Big T saying, "Bloody hell, Andy, I've had all these carp on pellets." And I'm like, hard pellets, you know what I mean? I'm like, what hard pellets? There's ice on the water, man. But yeah, it's just a general thing with us. I think us northern anglers, we just don't use them when it's colder, do we?
No, we like going a bit too delicate, don't we? Which, I mean, it's not wrong.
Oh, Jay, get off! Give us a go.
Well, how mad's that?
That is ridiculous.
I've gone from a fish every 3 minutes to an F1 a minute.
I'd still be happy on my maggots catching the eye, Jay.
Yeah, you'd have caught 20 eyed by now.
Honestly, that is amazing, man. Good to see.
And say I've still got the relative versatility of if I want to, I can pick catty up. If I really want to make some noise.
Yeah.
But I'd like to, at this time of year, I still think it's important to control them. So trying to feed everything with a cup. What am I doing with this one? Trying to feed everything with a cup. Still, that accuracy is so much more important this time of year because I can't have a big area to bait. So by keeping
the noise is definitely playing a factor in it.
It's just starting to, but it's worth mentioning that in that I feel that now, March, noise is great for F1s,
yeah.
It's horrendous for carp.
You still think they're a bit spooky?
I think carp hate noise, yeah. They hate noise until about May and then they start responding to it. But they're definitely spooky and don't like noise at the minute.
Right.
I feel. Right, so I'm going to nick one more.
Then it's my go.
But same again, it's ringing the bell at whether I need to make that noise and drag a fish to get a bite, or it may be in a cast or two that I just need to sneak my pellets in.
Yeah.
Because the noise can have an adverse effect in attracting too many fish. So it could be a case of sneaking my bait in, making as little noise as possible next cast, and it gives me a bite rather than a miss bite.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's all going to show up on your float J, innit? And obviously, miss bites and potential foul because something's not right. So you adapt, don't you?
Yeah,
you change.
I've just snuck them ones in instead. Just it often happens that your first 2 or 3 are nice, and then you start missing bites. So I'll try and sneak it this time just to prevent them coming off bottom altogether. See, I think that must have been a bit too deep. The stick's knocking then.
Do you get the reeds on Big D for it? Possibly. Imagine, I've just said it, Anna. That's its head. No, its tail's in the reeds. Its head's on your bait. Imagine how big that is. It's like 12 foot, man.
It's a conger snake. See, I'm not about as quick. That not making noise.
That rig is though.
It's just nice, isn't it? So much nicer than me soft pellet one was.
Give it a lift, Jay. Go on, give it a lift. Go on, just relax. Go on.
It needs laying in again. See how it's tightening and going lower and lower and lower?
Yeah.
But that's good because it means that I know that my bait's anchoring.
Yeah.
So don't mind that. And because we're on a slope, it's pretty clean. See, same again with this. It's just as it was with the micros when I put a ball in, I didn't get a bite. This time I've snuck it in, 0 noise.
Yeah.
Nothing's happened, has it?
Nope. No, it's right, isn't it?
Let me give it...
No coincidence, is there? 2 quick fish like that.
Yes, 10 more seconds. I'm going to whiz it back in. I'm going to make some noise again. But you're never feeding too much to mess it up. I mean, I can easily go in now. Them pellets I've fed have probably been wafted away if there's a fish there.
Yeah.
And the tow will make it move anyway.
You know what I mean? There's a group of them there. There's been nailed, wouldn't there?
Yeah, I can go again.
Or little gazzers. Little gazzers might have had them.
So, I'm going to have one last go this time. Back to making noise. Just to see. That's what they could be. They could be sat in them reeds opposite. And they have the bit of noise and they just race out straight into bait because they are responding to it.
It's mine, it's mine.
It is, isn't it? Wind's coming back as well, this cast. Oh. Right,
yeah,
on my spot. So give them pellets time to get down as well. So I don't mind lifting my rig back out, just trying to put them all in together.
Yeah.
So just so mine becomes one of instead of one that they can inspect. Let's see how quickly they respond to that. That's got all the way down without a bite. A little indication.
That's moving
then.
up the slope then. It comes up.
No, that'll be a fish wafting that then.
It.
Yeah, fish just moving the pellet. I say it's the magnification of the bite, but it's as a result of the pellet moving.
Yeah.
Instead of the last dropper shot moving.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you've not got as big a dropper as you would have with soft pellet.
Yeah.
I say that could be the ultimate way of fishing is the soft pellet type rig, the heavy rig with a banded hook length on. But then you don't get them sexy bites of putting your rig in with your bait and things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Then it's just when they're feeding on the bottom, and I mean you're fishing over that pile all the time. See, I've missed a couple there now. See, at least I've had indications this cast rather than the last cast when I just snuck it in.
Yeah.
Nothing happened whatsoever. So it's leading to me, definitely telling me that I need that sort of sprinkly lid and 2 pellets, make some noise, see if I get a bite. 2 pellets, see if I get a...
Yeah.
They tell you really quick what you need to be doing, what's working the best. So they told me while we're still putting a few fish in the net. Come on, that's 3 indications, that. If I don't catch you on this cast, back in, feed again. So that's something with pellets I do a lot, in that you're working out how often your pellet's being eaten or touched or whatever in relation to how many pellets are down there. So if you're getting a bite or an indication every 10 seconds, then them 10 pellets that you fed are gone very, very, very quickly.
Yeah.
You're
massive for that, aren't you? If there's like 100 pellets there, you know what I mean? There's a 1 in 100 chance and all this, that and the other, aren't you? So you told me about that lots and lots of times, Jeremy. Thank you. Yeah, boy.
Eventually, that were right at the end then. If I'd have missed the bite then, I'd have definitely came back and fed again, because you don't want to fish a cast out. I mean, you don't want to flog it until...
No.
Because you've
got to keep that going in.
Yeah.
So important.
Once the indications stop, get your arse back and feed again, isn't it?
Yeah. Got to be strict on yourself.
Yes. So...
You edgy, lad.
With that done, that's been a lovely one, that, as well. So definitely, it is your go. He's definitely woken up. But don't restrict yourself to the plain, boring, expander type fishing of old. I mean, it's great when you've got to be safe. So this time of year, you have to have the confidence, the bottle, whatever you want to call it, of potentially pushing it. You know what I mean? Swapping it to something a bit more I keep using that word versatile, but something you can be a bit more aggressive with.
Yeah, 100%, mate. There's probably, in like, what, the 20 minutes, half an hour you've been fishing there, that's probably 3 hours work for me in my markets there, you know what I mean? That's a difference though, isn't it?
Yeah, but even if we'd have stayed with expanders, we'd have caught 4 fish less, 3 fish less.
You've seen it, the difference with the hard pellets when you've gone on it, it's like 3 fish to 1 you catch on an expander.
Yeah.
So much quicker because the rig just sits so much better, and the feeding as well. But that feeding's everything, mate, isn't it? We always say it in our coaching, it's understanding the feeding.
Yeah, what they're doing, what impact your feed's having, isn't it?
Definitely.
So hopefully that was a nice little demonstration. I quite like that. He's going to boot me off my box now.
Get off.
And we'll see you next time. As always, thank you very much everyone for watching, but please do not forget to like and subscribe, and we will notify you any time of our craziness on the bank is coming to you.